This is actually so much fun.
So it stitches it all together.
This is cool. It's cool. All right, it is here. The world's first 360-degree drone. This is actually a company accelerated by Insta360, and this drone is called the A1. And the whole concept of this drone is basically you fly once and then you can reframe your shot however you like afterwards. And at first, I genuinely thought this was a bit of a gimmick, but after testing the unit out, my thoughts on that have changed. I'm going to explain to you why in this video, but let's break down this product a little bit more. A quick disclaimer that this is a pre-production unit, so this is just an initial first look at the software as well as some of the hardware, so please keep that in mind as you're watching. I want to break down why this technology feels special from my POV. I think the whole idea is that you're going to fly your drone once, and then you essentially have like infinite editing possibilities in post-production. You know, you're flying in one direction, you can get a side angle, you can get a top shot, you can get a bottom shot, you can get all of that reframing, and you can essentially even like cut all of those together to expand on a single edit. And I think that is like the most unique aspect of this drone, and it is the world's first time that will we ever be able to get a shot looking up. We've never been able to do that in a drone. There's always been a limitation in the past. This is all integrated into the drone. It's the first time we're ever going to see that, and I think that's going to open up a lot of possibilities in terms of creativity and just filmmaking in general. And one of the most unique aspects of this drone is that it's an immersive flying experience. It's literally in real time. You're getting a 360-degree view while you're flying in one direction. You're like a bird in the sky, and that just makes this drone fun to use because it doesn't always have to have the function of filmmaking. It doesn't always have to have the function of like how it adds value to your production company or you being a creator. It can also just be tech that is fun to use. Let's break down kind of what comes in your standard A1 kit. So you're gonna get the drone itself, the A1, and it actually comes under 249 grams, which means that it is legal to fly in most regions. You're gonna get the anti-gravity vision goggles, which has an OLED screen on the front of it, and it also comes with this like extra battery pack that actually powers the goggles itself. And it comes with the anti-gravity grip motion control unit, which basically is your controller to fly the drone. One of the things that was like 100% a standout is like how shockingly light the batteries are.
They are really light.
Yeah, it is really light, and that each of these weighs almost nothing.
And if you're someone who travels a lot like I do, every little gram that you can save that is not on your back is so appreciated. The overall unit itself is like extremely lightweight. I did give this drone to two people to test out, and I want to throw to my friend Michael Kadori's first time testing out this drone in Japan.
The drone's in here. Look how small it is. It's like the size of my hand. This looks like a little battery holder. So they got two batteries here, one in the drone. Batteries are pretty small. I noticed that this cable actually physically clips into the battery like that. You can't pull it out. And from my like FPV experience and background, we run a lot of cables into batteries and you know, they can't fall out, and I've never seen one that literally clips into place. So this is a nice little touch. On the goggles, we've got, this is dials, so people with glasses can use the goggles, and then this is for focusing, so we can move them forward and back. Beautiful. So we're catering to everyone. So if you've got glasses on, then you're still able to use the equipment. Antennas up. So I get to view the world in 360 in essentially a floating 360 camera. Oh, it's saying 27 minutes of flight time. Damn, that's a long time for such a small drone. It's kind of game changer because I've never seen that perspective flying around in the sky. You've just got so much creativity in the space. It's going to be amazing when this actually hits the consumer market. I'm just so excited to see what creatives can bring to the table with this.
I'm just gonna cut to my experience in Alaska of flying this drone for the first time. I am kind of essentially doing my real first flight. The other two that I ever had were kind of just like introductory. I don't have to worry too much about flying and trying to frame at the same time. I can actually just enjoy this product for the love of flying and not worry too much if my like movements are like overly shaky. And I know that I'll be able to get a steady shot, or at least that's my assumption. And the sensors are working really well. Like I feel very confident, at least right now, flying this around. And when it senses that it might actually like hit something, it slows down a lot to give you some perspective. This is actually so much fun. a little disoriented, but I did it. All right, there it is. First look, everybody. I kind of touched on why this drone is unique in terms of like its functionality. I think number one, you can shoot for any format. You don't need to have a drone where like the head itself tilts to be able to shoot vertical content. You can even change the aspect ratio in post-production. So you can have like cinematic shots, you can have 4:3 shots, you can have 16:9 shots, you can have 9:16 shots. You get the point. It's a very powerful tool when you're looking at a multi-format distribution. I'm trying to sound so like intelligent, like it's like, dude, you can post it to social media. I'm gonna put an asterisk on this like thought, but you essentially don't have to be a perfect pilot. And that doesn't mean that you need to be a lazy pilot, but I think you have a lot more wiggle room in terms of like the errors that you make. And this is because it's filming every aspect of your shot. So when you're like trying to get a movement, even if the drone itself kind of gets hit by the wind, the stabilization in post-production will lock onto your subject and you really won't notice those like micro movements or micro jitters. You have a little bit more buffer to get a more dialed in shot. And if you're unfamiliar with Insta360 products, they have this one product called the Insta360 X5, which is their 360-degree camera. And what ends up happening is that when you put a selfie stick on the camera itself, the selfie stick disappears in post-production. That's why they call it the invisible selfie stick. They've used the same technology here to remove the rotor. It takes the image from both the cameras and then uses AI to remove the propellers and create a perfect stitch. And I think one of the greatest things is that there's like essentially, I'm gonna put this in quotes, no wasted takes. You fly it once and then you have like infinite ability to like reframe and create shots after the fact. I'd like to build a whole section just on the immersive flying experience because it's such a unique aspect of this drone. So in the free motion mode, essentially your flying direction and your viewing direction are completely independent of each other. So you could be flying in one direction while also looking in another direction and it will not impact the flight experience. It's kind of like what I imagine being a bird would be like. And that is such a unique way to experience a new location. When I was in Alaska, I got to see what the entire world of this like mountain view was like, not just from the lake, but from like up above. And it is just so beautiful from up there. And that I know is just like a live transmission video, but it gives you more depth and more appreciation for the landscape that you're in. And within this mode, you also have the ability to use this scroll wheel here on the actual controller itself. And that actually will like pivot the movement of the drone. Let's break down what the actual flying experience is like. I will say that this drone is very intuitive. And I know that there's like consideration that I've been flying drones for 10 years. Even when I was looking at what Michael's first initial impressions were like.
I think it's great. I think it's very intuitive.
Even what John's initial impressions were like.
Pretty intuitive, I think.
They picked up the drone very quickly. I only had one return to home experience with this drone. Essentially, I flew it really far. It disconnected once it kind of got into an area that was like too far away, or maybe there was some interference. The drone essentially went up into the sky, started flying back, reconnected to the goggles, and I was able to bring it back. So, you know, my experience is that that worked and was dialed in, but I can't speak to like what it is in its final stage. Seems to work to me. I did notice that there is a micro SD card on the actual like goggles itself. What I think that will be is that it will record either the interface or record at least a live feed from the goggles so that you never like lose your footage. And just like any Insta360 X series product, which is their 360 line, always make sure that you clean your lenses before you film. It's just like good practice to make sure that you get the best, highest quality footage so that like dust isn't kind of getting in the way of your final shot. What I think is exciting about this product is that even though it's directed at beginners, it's really marking the beginning of 360-degree cameras in a drone moving forward. And I can only imagine what Insta360 and Antigravity's plans are for the future of this lineup as we start to expand on 360 products in the sky in the future. There's a space for traditional drones and there's a space for 360 drones. The two are very different products, but there is a lot of functionality in the 360 drone that makes it very applicable in the future. Please bear in mind that this is not the full res footage. This is an ultra prototype unit. When the drone does release later this fall, I will be going in depth on the 8K footage then, but just keep that in mind as you're looking at this current first look video. I think it's important to keep in mind that this drone comes from the minds, the experience, the history of people who have been dedicating the last 10 years of their lives making incredible 360-degree products. After using this product, I have a lot of confidence in it, and I'm really excited for what the future of anti-gravity will be and where the A1 will land on launch day for its customers and consumers. Those are my final thoughts on the Antigravity A1. I'm curious to hear what you think of this product and what you hope to see in its final form in the comment section below. I will be replying to the comments, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.